Mgejiwisnewen, Mgejiwisnewen. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Gezouten Deshnikas, Bodhiwatermian Dao, Ming and Dodom. Hello, my name is Jody Gezouten, one who helps children, aka BossLady Anish. I am Citizen Band, Potawatomi Loon Clan, and I am so happy to be with you today. So welcome to my kitchen. Today we're going to show you how to make fruit leather. It is so easy and it's one of the best ways and methods to preserve your berries and fruit. So I'm going to get started so we don't take too long. This is super easy and you don't need any special equipment to do it. If you don't have a food processor, that's fine. Use a blender. If you don't have a blender or a food processor, that's fine. You can cook this down until it's all mashed up and use like a potato masher. So there's always a way. You don't need any special equipment. Throughout the year, berries are different, or they come to harvest at different times. Like usually strawberries are first, our heartberries. We've got blackberries, raspberries, dewberries, thimbleberries, blueberries. They come a little bit later, so it's hard to get them all at the same time. So when I see a deal on berries or I'm out foraging, I'll scoop them up. Also, it's a great time of year at farmers market. Scoop up those good deals on those berries and freeze them until you have enough to make some fruit leather. So all you need is berries. This is going to make about 12 cups, 12 to 16 cups. So we'll go with there. I'm awful at measuring. Measure with your indigenous heart and eyes, and you really can't go wrong. You know what you like. You know what flavors you like, so use those. Okay, carrying on. I've got a whole bunch of strawberries. Leave the tops on. The elders in the meadow and lodge will tell you that the medicine for your heart comes from the tops, so leave those on, okay? I only cut them off if I'm like making a pie or a jam or something, but for fruit leather, leave the medicine on. Of course, rinse them. There you go. I've also got blackberries, blueberries, raspberries, and I think some thimbleberries in here. I've got, for this amount, so for 12 to 16 cups, I'm going to have 2 cups of chia seeds. You do not have to have chia seeds in it. I add chia seeds because it has extra protein, and I like extra protein. But you don't have to have chia seeds. These are also a gift from our relatives in South and Central America. So don't forget them. And then I've got, for this amount, I've got about 2 cups of Zisbaquet maple syrup. If you don't have maple syrup, you can omit it. You can use honey instead. Probably not as much honey, probably about a cup of honey, but use what you have. If you don't like the sweetness, that's fine. Omit it. Make this yours. That really is the answer. Make this yours. Okay, so now we're going to get going. Okay, so I have a large bowl to put all of our goodies in because we're going to have to do this in batches. Again, if you don't have a food processor, that's fine. You can use a blender. If you don't have a blender, you can cook it down on your stovetop. I like to do it fresh, so I'll use the blender or the food processor just so that I feel like I don't want to lose any nutrients. Plus it grinds up the tops of the berries so you don't have to worry about chewing on a hard leaf. So we'll do this in batches. Now I do it for a little while because I want it nice and smooth. So let that go. It also is okay if these are still frozen because your food processor is going to take care of that. And then I just dump it in. And then we go on to the next batch. Now I've got my other mixed berries. Same thing, we're just gonna blend that up till it's super smooth. Okay, here we are now. This is the last of all of the berries. We'll just get it in there. Make sure we scoop everything out. Okay, now here, we're just gonna add ingredients and mix. I do add a generous pinch of sea salt just to help bring out the flavors. And then I've got the 2 cups of chia seeds. Now, if you don't want to do this much, if you only have 8 to 10 cups of berries, that's fine. Just cut all this in half. It's No big deal. You basically just want to mush all your berries up, and then so you can dehydrate them. Now we're going to add the 2 cups of this back wet. If you don't have any maple syrup or you don't want the extra sweetness, that's fine. Leave it out. And then we're just going to marry all these ingredients. Now, for dehydrating, you do not need a dehydrator. You technically don't even need an oven, but I use my oven. I live in Tennessee and it is very humid. So for me to dry something outside, especially berries, it's just not going to work. So I use my oven. I'll show you in a minute how we're going to do this, but put the oven on the lowest setting possible. If you don't have a convection oven, that's fine. Just prop the door open a little bit. Just so that there's good airflow. The thing about dehydration is it needs to be a low heat, but air circulation, that is the key in dehydrating anything, is air circulation. So we just mix all this through, super easy. Okay, so now I just use a cooking sheet with a little bit of a lip. I line it with some parchment paper. You can use like saran wrap or plastic wrap, that's fine, but I try to stay away from plastic, so I go with parchment paper. Just cut it to the size of your pan. You can also get these pre-cut, which honestly is kind of worth it. And then I'm just gonna scoop up that berry mush and put it right on your pan. Now this is gonna take a while, like a long while, about 12 hours for this to dehydrate in my oven, but totally worth it. I end up sticking these in the fridge just so that they'll last forever, but honestly, they don't need to because they go so fast in my household. And then we're just gonna smooth this out. Now back in the day, and you can do this too, this totally legit worked for our ancestors not so long ago. They would make, and many still do up north, but you can make little like pockets out of birch bark, make like a little envelope, and they would scoop this into the envelope and dry it that way. If I remember right, they would cook it down, or they do cook it down to where it's almost a really thick paste. So instead of doing the dehydrating in the oven or like in a dehydrator, they would actually, and they do, cook it down and then seal it in that birch bark envelope. I believe the birch bark keeps bacteria and fungus and bugs away. And so it'll stay forever unrefrigerated in that little pouch. So now I'm going to put this in the oven, the lowest setting with the door propped open for about 12 hours, but I'm going to check on it all the time. Don't leave it unattended. Check on it all the time. And I'll show you when we come back with the magic of TV, I'm going to show you what it should look like when it's done. And bam, there you go. This took about, 14 to 16 hours to dry. So depending on your thickness, your humidity, that's going to make a difference in your drying time. So you want it dry, but you can see how it's pliable. That's exactly what you want. And you can use a cookie cutter to cook through it, but I don't have the arm strength for that. So I just use a good knife. And you can even just break it if you want to. Whatever works for you. And then you just kind of bend it back and forth to get it to break and separate. And there you go. And then I even like to cut it into like little squares. Like that. You can see it's hard, but it's still pliable and easy to eat. And then I store these in a mason jar, but you can use plastic baggies, whatever you want. But again, I try to get away from plastic. I will store this batch in a plastic bag because I'm going to be bringing it to the gathering. But I like these mason jars. They're sustainable, they're not plastic, and they work great. One thing I'll add too is I like to like crunch these up into little pieces and then put them into trail mix. That works really well. You can add them with nuts, other dried berries. Even use it in pemmican. This is so versatile. You can use it in so many ways. So I'm really excited to see where you guys go with this. But I'll just keep it like this and keep it around. It doesn't last very long in my household. Or I crunch it up and put it into like a trail mix. For my boys when they go hunting or hiking or whatever. You know that it's going to have really good nutrients in it, electrolytes, antioxidants, as well as protein from the chia seeds. So there you go. I hope that you do some amazing things with this. I can't wait to see what y'all come up with. So good luck. Bon appétit.